Welcome back to Animal X. Hundreds of people claim to have seen it. Some even have pictures they believe offer proof that it's out there. The legend of Bigfoot is world famous. We met up with those determined to show that it's more than just a myth, that Sasquatch is alive and well and living in North America.
For more than a century, reports of a creature, half man, half ape, living in North America's wilderness have absorbed adventurers. But Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch as the Indians call it, has remained elusive. The best images that remain are artists' impressions. But in a new expedition to separate fact from fiction, a well-equipped team of experts has recorded a series of chilling experiences in one of the most remote parts of the United States. They say the animal they encountered could only have been one thing.
And we found what we interpreted to be Sasquatch tracks and other evidence, calls and also visitations at night, having food stolen, things like that. Definitely not bear.
Animal X obtained exclusive high-8 video from the team's visit to Northern California and their search for the Bigfoot in the Siskiyou Mountains. After 2 days of trekking, cryptozoologist Richard Greenwell, his son Darwin, primatologist Jeffrey Meldrum and their guide Mark Slack are deep in the rugged Californian wilderness. They stumble upon tracks that fit the description of Bigfoot.
We've got compression of the sediment all the way back to here, and this rock's been dislodged, so we know that that occurred all the way back this far. So what we have is we've got something that is roughly in the neighborhood of 12 inches in length.
Throw it across the front end.
The tracks are not easily distinguishable, but the evidence of toes and a human-shaped foot, as well as the number of prints, give the team reason to rule out bears.
There are toes visible, so that would be too coincidental for a bear to bear's hind foot to register on the foot repeatedly. I'm perfectly comfortable concluding that what we see here are Sasquatch.
Well, you're the team primatologist. Okay.
But the group isn't just hoping to bump into a Sasquatch. They're aiming to get Bigfoot to come to them. They're armed with infrared sensors, cameras, as well as stereo equipment. From a car stereo system, recorded Bigfoot calls are broadcast from the mountaintops. The reclusive Sasquatch is believed to communicate using this eerie howl. It's now a matter of waiting for the calls to bring out the hairy primates.
Within about 5 minutes of our getting back to camp, it was activated by something that was at least 5 feet tall. We're not sure what.
Jeff Meldrum is looking for clues. Perhaps a bear standing on its hind legs or the antler of a deer has triggered the device.
And that could have been from last night before the rain.
Yeah.
With no sign of Sasquatch in the area, Jeff and Mark head off deeper into the remote countryside in pursuit of Bigfoot. The evidence they uncover leaves them convinced the Sasquatch is out there. A series of footprints 16 inches long attracts their attention. Then something very odd happens.
We're sitting there talking for some time when suddenly there was a crash behind us. Something had been thrown.
Had a Sasquatch been trying to frighten the two men out of its territory? During their time in the remote wilderness, Richard and Mark begin to feel that they're the ones under surveillance.
Something tripped over the corner of my tent and sent the whole tent rocking.
There's sounds that I've never heard before in all the years of guiding.
At night, whistles and rappings go on around their tents. Howls can be heard in the distance. Mark's backpack is raided, and 3 sets of tracks are discovered that don't fit the description of a bear.
So your conclusion is that it's Bigfoot?
Yeah, well, that was by process of elimination.
Yeah.
That's the only reasonable alternative explanation.
After 3 weeks in the wilderness, the hunters become the hunted at base camp as well. Sounds outside the tents give everyone the distinct impression that they'd been visited by a Sasquatch, perhaps even more than one.
Sort of a sweeping sound and what seemed to be two very brisk footsteps, but they were very light, padded footsteps, very distinct.
The encounters take place out of the range of nightscope cameras or after team members have left the observation hide. Yet the team members finish their mission with the same conclusion.
If Sasquatches don't exist, we've got something else.
Bigfoot has been reported all over the North American continent. It's consistently described as between 7 and 8 foot tall, a massive hairy ape-like animal that walks on 2 feet. It's often said to give off a repugnant odor. In the Florida Everglades, Bigfoot is known as the skunk ape for just that reason. A spate of sightings has captured the public imagination. Fire Chief Vince Dewar was driving along a quiet stretch of road when he spotted something unusual lumbering across his path on 2 feet. He reached for his camera and leapt out of the car.
Hey!
Vince Dewar captured the mysterious creature as it disappeared into the dense bushland.
And if you look, see where he's at?
His photograph shows an upright animal. Could it be the elusive skunk ape?
I've seen nearest thing, anything to it would be a bear. You know, they're on all four. When they move any distance, they go down on 4. This stayed upright, 2 legs, walking with a long stride, and, you know, around 6 foot high, thereabout.
The Florida Everglades play host to an array of beautiful and menacing animals. Many people are convinced the skunk ape is among them. 6 English visitors were out on a regular tour when they encountered an animal not on the usual program.
One of the 2 boys aboard the van said, "Bigfoot, Bigfoot." In the opposite side of the road, we saw this creature standing up alongside the bushes, and it looked like a huge gorilla.
The creature appeared once again before it disappeared into the bushes. Perhaps the summer infestation of mosquitoes had forced the skunk ape out of the bushland and into the open. A set of tracks near the roadside suggest it did.
Tracks.
Cryptozoologist Richard Greenwell was brought to Florida to investigate.
Looks like about almost 13, almost 14 inches.
The tracks are remarkably similar to the casts taken from another set of footprints found in the area 3 months earlier.
If this is hoaxed, then this probably is hoaxed too, or vice versa, because they're very similar. And if the one's authentic, then there's a good chance the other one's authentic.
The track's proximity to the road raises the possibility that they've been faked, but Richard Greenwell isn't prepared to dismiss them. Up to the 1840s, gorillas were regarded as African folklore. It wasn't until skulls were discovered by Europeans that they were given a legitimate place in the animal kingdom. Will Bigfoot be next?
I don't have any absolute proof. Nobody does. There's films, there's footprints, there's eyewitness reports, there's hairs. When you combine all of this, you build up a pretty strong case, just like you would in a court of law.
A possible explanation lies 300,000 years back in time. An 8-foot-tall primate called Gigantopithecus is believed to have roamed what's now China.
There was the Bering Land Bridge from Asia to North America up to about 11,000 years ago, which could have permitted, just like when Asians crossed that land bridge to become today's American Indians, possibly a large primate came over, that one, and remained in the forests here.
Many Americans have testified that something strange certainly lives in the forests. For them, the most logical explanation is Bigfoot.
It's said there are stranger things in heaven and earth than we can think of. You've just seen some of them on Animal X.